The first of the month arrives and your salary hits your account. You feel flush with cash. But then the calendar flips. By the 15th, you're calculating everyday expenses in your head. By the 28th, that bank balance drains to near zero, and you're just holding your breath for the next payday. If you've received raises over the last few years, your income has gone up. So why does your savings account still look exactly the same at the end of every month? Meet Aman. He's an IT professional living in Indore, earning a solid salary that affords him a comfortable life near landmarks like the Rajwada Palace. He's our proxy for a very common financial trap. Aman faces a constant stream of financial leaks. A good chunk of his pay goes immediately to his car EMI, his equated monthly installment. Then there's grocery inflation, rent, and those tiny casual UPI transactions, instant mobile payments made by scanning QR codes at local tea stalls and cafes that silently eat away his balance. Aman assumes he just needs to earn more money, but his actual issue is a lack of financial architecture. Building wealth does not require extreme willpower or constant self-denial. It requires setting up the exact same automated frameworks that allow people in the top 1% of savers to bank up to 73% of their income. Let's look at what happens when Aman actually gets a 20% appraisal at work. Almost instantly, he moves into a slightly nicer apartment, upgrades his phone, and starts eating at more expensive restaurants. This is lifestyle inflation in action. This happens because of Parkinson's law. In psychology, Parkinson's law states that work expands to fill the time available for its completion. When applied to personal finance, it means your subconscious spending will always expand to consume all the available funds you see sitting in your checking account. The most effective way to break this subconscious habit is a strategy called fake earning less. You completely remove the temptation to spend by hiding your own money from yourself. This pipeline visualization shows exactly how it works. When the large incoming paycheck hits, an automated SIP, a systematic investment plan that transfers money on a fixed schedule, is triggered. A 20% chunk is diverted instantly into a locked, separate savings account. Only the remaining 80% ever reaches your daily spending pool. By engineering this artificial scarcity, you live off what's left. Because the money is out of sight and out of mind, you force yourself to adapt to a lower spending threshold, and you do it without feeling deprived. When Aman does try to save, he usually focuses on exhausting micro-restrictions. He'll deny himself of 15 rupee cutting chai every afternoon, thinking these tiny sacrifices will add up to a fortune. Contrast that extreme micro-focus with how Aman actually treats his time. During his most productive hours, he'll often fall down internet rabbit holes, like watching videos about how mammoths still walked the earth when the Great Pyramids were being built, instead of focusing on high-value tasks. To fix this misallocation of focus, we apply the Pareto principle. Coined in 1906, this is the concept that roughly 80% of your consequences come from just 20% of your causes. This pie chart demonstrates what happens when you apply the Pareto principle to personal finance. It shows that 80% of your total monthly expenses stem from a tiny fraction of your budget. For most people, the vast majority of their costs come from just two categories: housing and dining out. This means if you want to make a real impact on your bank account, you look at your largest bills. Refinancing a high-interest personal loan to a lower rate, or cutting back on expensive weekend dinners, mathematically dwarfs the few rupees you save by skipping your daily tea. Optimizing your two largest, most rigid expenses yields massive financial returns, requiring zero daily willpower. Obsessing over cheap daily habits only leads to decision fatigue and burnout. Then there's the issue of emotional spending. Late at night, Aman often finds himself mindlessly scrolling through shopping apps, eventually buying a shiny new smartwatch that he doesn't actually need. The defense against this is the trigger rule. You have to identify the underlying emotion prompting that unplanned spending. Often, you aren't shopping because you need an item. You're shopping because you feel bored, overwhelmed, or lonely, and buying something offers a temporary distraction. Once you know your trigger, you can deploy the 30-day add to cart system. When you see something you want, you add it to a list and wait a mandatory 30 days. If you still want it after a month, you buy it. In practice, this forced waiting period leads to a 90% drop in impulse buying because the urge usually passes in a few weeks. We also have to look at how Aman values his weekends. He will happily spend 4 sweaty hours manually washing and detailing his car just to save 500 rupees. This ignores a vital concept known as the saving ceiling. Your saving ceiling is the absolute maximum amount of money you can save, and it is strictly capped by your total income. If you earn 50,000 rupees a month, you can never save 51,000. The only true way to scale your wealth past that ceiling is to increase your earnings. Time is a financial multiplier. Trading small amounts of money to reclaim hours is an investment. If Aman pays 500 rupees for the car wash, he buys back 4 hours of his weekend, time he can use to freelance, upskill, or build a side business to finally break his saving ceiling. Even with good habits, Aman's tracking remains chaotic. He tries to manage his finances by scrolling through disorganized UPI transaction histories and relying on random SMS alerts from his bank, with no unified target in mind. To fix this, he needs the tracking and goals, or TG strategy. Setting a specific, numeric long-term target, like an exact down payment for a house, forces your brain to shift away from short-term gratification and focus on long-term planning. But a goal needs a review process. On Wall Street, financial professionals use a rigorous evaluation methodology known as the quarterly review to ensure their strategies are actually working. You can apply the exact mechanics of this personal quarterly review to your own life. Every 3 months, you sit down, categorize your expenses, analyze your spending habits, and pivot your strategy if you find you're off track. A budget without a regular review is just a wish. The quarterly review acts as an essential feedback loop, allowing you to identify and fix small financial leaks before they have a chance to sink your ship. Fast forward 3 months. Aman is not living amongst life. He still eats out, he still enjoys his weekends. But for the first time, his net worth is consistently growing. The paradox of this financial glow-up is that building wealth actually feels effortless. The automated SIPs handle the heavy lifting of saving, and the 30-day rule naturally filters out bad impulse purchases. Motivation is temporary and easily exhausted by the stress of daily life, but mathematically sound financial systems work forever, completely independent of your willpower. Don't let yourself get overwhelmed by trying to fix everything at once. Pick just one strategy from today, like setting up that 20% automated transfer or adopting the 30-day cart rule, and implement it right now. Hit subscribe to MoneyBot for more Tier 2 financial strategies, and share this video with that one friend who is always broke by the 15th of the month.